Before we get started, I wanted to do just a quick overview of how the weekend has gone so far, because some of us were here Friday night, and some of us, this is our first time at Start Peninsula. So Start Peninsula is a business plan competition mixed in with a weekend to improve your business, to work on your business together with mentors that will help you advance in the areas that you might have gaps, and then come back and pitch on Sunday for a panel of judges. And there is cash at stake, $5,000, $7,500, and $10,000 in seed money, plus a whole lot of other great perks and benefits. So we started off on Friday night with 20 people pitching their business ideas. They had 90 seconds for that pitch, followed up by a Q&A session where they were allowed one question each and 30 seconds to answer for our panel of judges. As the judges deliberated, we had a fantastic keynote message from the founder of snagajob.com, and that was Mr. Sean Boyer, and he did a fantastic job. For anyone who was here, he did a great job, lots of great business wisdom. Then when the judges came back, we narrowed our selections down to 10 semifinalists who were given the ability to pitch tonight with a 5-minute pitch, followed by 5 minutes of Q&A. So that's what we're going to see here tonight. Now, with our judges, we have got 5 fantastic judges I will be bringing out just in a minute, but I first wanted to recognize our sponsors. And at the bronze level of sponsorship, we have the Greater Williamsburg Chamber and Tourism Alliance, CIT, Launchpad, Reactor, Waypoint Seafood and Grill, The Cheese Shop, Sal's by Victor, Qdoba's Mexican Grill, The Blue Talon, Donato's Pizza, and College Deli and Williamsburg Event Rentals. Let's give our bronze sponsors a round of applause. Because without them, this would definitely not be possible. We also have the silver sponsor, that was the law firm of Patton, Burnham, Hatton, and Diamondstein. A round of applause for them. And then our platinum sponsors, the cities of Williamsburg, Newport News, Hampton, and Pocosin, and the counties of York and James City. Big round of applause to our platinum sponsors. All right, so let's talk about how our participants are going to be judged. We have a set of rubrics that we use with points and weights applied accordingly. And the first thing that we need to look at is the business model. And this is worth 10 points. The business model consists of the following. Number 1, the value proposition. And this is the description of the customer's problem, the product that addresses that problem, and the value of the product from the customer's perspective. Next is market segment. So that's the group of customers to target, basically your target audience. Recognizing that different market segments have different needs is another part of that. The third part of it is revenue generation and margins. And this is such an important part of it because it's really important for an entrepreneur to know where their revenue, where their money comes from, who's the actual paying customer that pays your company. So how is revenue generated? Sales, leasing, subscription, support, etc. And have you identified the cost structure and target profit margins? The fourth aspect of that is position and value network. And that is the identification of competitors, complementers, and any network effects that can be utilized to deliver more value to the customer. And then the fifth part of the business model is competitive strategy. How will the company attempt to develop a sustainable competitive advantage, for example, by means of a cost differentiation or niche strategy? So that's all part of the business model rubric. Now, the other part of this is customer validation, which is worth 5 points. Do you understand the market problem or opportunity and have built a solution for them? Does your solution resonate with the market? You need to determine who exactly your customers are, like I was just saying. Beyond who they are, what are their common characteristics? How do they make decisions? Where can you reach them? And where do they need to be in order to shop with or participate with your company? Do they really want your product? And of course, that seems like a no-brainer question, but that's a big one. That is definitely a big one. All right, the final part of our judging rubrics is called execution and design, and this is also worth 5 points. What have you created? A functional product or service? Do you have next steps outlined or a plan that identifies action items for the near future, and have gaps been identified, and did you discuss how you would fill those gaps? So those are the things that we're going to be basing our decisions on tonight. That's what the judges are going to be looking for. They're going to have a lot more time tonight with that 5-minute pitch, but it's still going to be going by pretty quickly. And these participants have worked really hard over the weekend to hone that pitch. But I can tell you that anytime you stand up on stage and pitch an idea, you're kind of in a position of vulnerability. So it's really important that our audience who's here tonight gives our participants all the support that they need. So let's practice that right now. I want you to give me your biggest round of applause as if it was you coming up. Let's hear it for our participants. I'm really proud of these guys, to kind of been here throughout the weekend and to see the progression is really great. Now that 5 minutes does go by really quick, but then of course we've got that 5-minute Q&A afterwards. All right, so now it is time to introduce our judges. Our judges have been deliberating in the back for their pre-meeting. There they are right there. Come on down, judges. Let's welcome them to the front. So we have Zach Miller, founder of Hatch. Give everybody a wave there, Zach. We've also got Marco Rubin, Senior Investment Director of the CIT. Welcome, Marco. Also, Sean McDonald. She is founder of Feedback. And a Star Peninsula alumnus, I should say. Bill Cumbie with Pancopia, Chief Technology Officer. And Xerxes Gabong, entrepreneur, financial advisor, and owner of Escape Room. So judges, are you ready?
Yep.
All right. Very good.
We ready?
I am ready. I am definitely ready. Yes. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to welcome our pitchers one at a time. And our pitchers will be using the slideshow from up here, which will be worked from over there. Pitchers, you can come on up to the front. This will be your microphone, and I'll kind of have my station over here. You're free to take it off of the lectern if you like, or you're free to leave it up, however you like. And without further ado, let's meet our pitchers. Yeah. Okay, so our first pitcher is going to be Jack Horner from BMG Clear App. Jack, your first up, my friend. Do you have a clicker? Yeah. Good to go, whenever you're ready.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, judges. My name is Jack Horner. I'm with BMG Clear, and we help people stay safe. We do this through a couple of different ways, but one way in particular we do this is through our threat assessment program that we have created. What this software does, what this program does, is it answers a very simple question. You don't know what you don't know, which is a dilemma that a lot of people have. Now, this threat assessment program that I utilize takes me anywhere up to 2 weeks to do it. The reason why is because I have to go do the assessment at the property during the day. We go at night. I've got to go back, go through all the analytics of what I found, and then type the report. 2 weeks later, the client finally gets it. I figured that was too much, and I was wasting too much time. So I took my manual, I took my evaluation form, and I took it to a software company, and they created a tool for me to use. And I thought this was the greatest thing. Now, my experience. I spent 22 years in the federal law enforcement with the United States Coast Guard. I used to travel around the world conducting threat assessments on foreign ports for what's called an international certification called IPSC, meaning any cargo ship or ship inbound for the U.S. can only stop at these foreign ports that have IPSC certification. So, I took what used to take me 2 weeks, standing there, you can see me trying to hold the papers in the evaluation form. Now, it takes me less than 7 hours. I can take my app, send it up there, judges, if you want to, you can look through it. I have over 30 different criteria that I look through. You can click on one, it opens up. It sets the standard of what the criteria is for that specific measurable. It has a sliding scale where the user actually puts it low, medium, or high vulnerability, depending on whether it's a low threat or high threat. You can even add a picture. If you can take a picture or one from your library, you can populate into the program. You can see I took one, open the picture back up. It has a simple draw program, and then you'll see that as I'm doing the threat assessment itself and using the application, it's actually populating the report. When I'm done, I can email it to you, I can airdrop it to your printer, or I can just simply airdrop it to your iPhone. Who is my target market? My target market is local government emergency managers. That's who I'm going after. But here's my problem. Dealing with local government emergency managers is they don't like to bring outsiders in to tell them or to recognize issues that they have. This app can help you be used as a tool to help with public works, fire, police, schools, or even maritime. Our Norfolk neighbors down the peninsula. And that's what's going to make it the most key. It is a tool that they can be used in-house and that can be tailored to fit their specific need. One of my biggest accomplishments overseas when I was in the Coast Guard was I was able to conduct a threat assessment on the port of South Africa in 2010, 2 weeks before the FIFA World Cup. So I think of soccer, and I love this picture here because it looks at a couple of different things. The players in white all represent the different types of elements that other security companies are looking for, but they're looking for it individually. One comes in and only does cyber. One will come in and only do security, and one will come in and only do infrastructure. And if you see the blue players sneaking around the corner, there's no one paying attention to them. Why? Because it's not a collective tool. That's how my app comes through and helps them. It is a one-stop shop that can be completely tailored to them. We have our pricing and cost breakdown up on the screen, but I want to tell you a little story. This summer, the town of Leesburg in Northern Virginia sent out an RFP looking for a security company to come in and spend a year long to conduct an assessment of their emergency management system, their emergency operating centers, and also their materials resources they have on hand. Our company bid on it. We were one of the lowest to come in, and we came in at $250,000. If you can see that this right here, if they followed our pricing, would have only cost them $23,000. So if their cap was $75,000, we would have saved them $50,000. I'm Jack Horner with B&G Clear. Thank you very much.
Jack, now we have Q&A.
I was going to run.
So, explain how this is anything different than taking a manual spreadsheet and just putting it into a Google form, because I'm not seeing anything different from that, and then from this as well, where that's anything different. Not that that's bad, just saying where's the real bread and butter of how you can actually analyze some of that stuff.
You know what, that's a great question, and one of the best pieces that it does is it speeds up time. What I mean by time is, and because you can't see it on this app because I haven't finished it yet, that $10,000 we were talking about, when a client pays that, let's say it's the Chamber of Commerce for Williamsburg. They say, we have the Christmas parade coming up and we want you to use your device. We're going to take all of their rules, regulations, charters that they have governing them, take it, download it into the software, and then I will go and train however many users they're wanting to do. What makes it easy and what makes it difficult to put it on a spreadsheet is that end user. I won't be the end user, so it's going to be someone that I train that has a basic level of knowledge about safety and security, And the app will have information on things that they wouldn't normally look for.
Did you ask those individuals, though, if they would be using a non-custom solution as you kind of are pitching? So the chamber, for example, you just used them. Like, did you talk to them and say, would you pay $10,000 for this ongoing solution that's not custom to you?
I have talked with them about how they conduct threat assessments, how do they check the area. I have not approached them about price. No, I haven't. I got to be honest with you. This whole price and everything, this whole model that you just saw tonight, came about this weekend. I had a complete eureka moment. So, yes, sir.
So, what's the barrier to entry? In other words, you have a system you have.
Yes, sir.
Once you're successful, what's to keep other people saying, I can do this for half the cost? Come up with a similar type system.
I guess nothing. I guess that's what's free market. The difference that I feel that makes it is the fact that not only do I have the resources, I have plus I have the security when they use the app. The cloud service that I use, the company that I use, is used to dealing with higher level individuals, and they have certain security measures that they have to meet in protocols. So the client, you could use someone else. However, the cloud service that we use and the security that we provide takes it to the next level.
How often do assessments need to be conducted? Is it something that has to be done over and over again? What's the value of me if I'm hiring, you're taking my people, you're teaching them how to do assessments, so presumably it has to be done multiple times?
No, ma'am. Assessments, in my point of view, should be done every 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
But if I'm going after local emergency managers, let's say this month we're going to focus on all of our emergency management response, oil booms in case a train overruns, something like that. This next month we're going to talk about our courthouse. When's the last time an assessment was done on our courthouse? And just keep working down the line that way.
I guess what I'm missing is where's the value proposition to train my people on how to do this? Why not? I don't see what the value is to me of training my people. I like the idea of just hiring an expert. They come in, they do it. I get that you've designed a great tool that makes that a lot faster for you.
Yes,
Yay,
ma'am.
that's great. But why is there an advantage of me teaching my own people to do assessments?
And that's what I've run into. So my original scheme, my original thought is I developed this tool so that I could come in and do the assessment for you, for your company. Dealing with local governments, state governments, as I said, they don't want outsiders coming in. So I live in Virginia. My family was here in Virginia. I want to protect Virginia. So the only way I can protect them is by giving them a tool and training them on how to use it.
So you're solving a pain that you've legitimately seen, and you've discovered that people don't like you from the outside coming in, that they would prefer having their own kind evaluate them.
Yes, ma'am.
And therefore you're saying, okay, fine, if that's how you're going to do it, I'm going to empower you to do it and do it well and right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
What have your customers said that they like and don't like about the product when you've shown it to them?
Right now, the biggest issue that we're having, and that's because we haven't finished completing the app, is that you still have user error, meaning that slider tool, there's no criteria that's actually...
And that's time. It takes a lot of courage to go first, so let's give him one more round. Okay, a couple of quick announcements that I forgot to mention earlier. So if anybody does have a cell phone, please turn it off or silence it, because we don't want people to mistake that noise for the timer going off. The other thing is, when the timer does go off, I know it seems brutal to cut somebody off in the middle of a sentence. However, that's the way we do it, simply because we want to make sure that everybody gets the same equal amount of time. So we definitely appreciate everybody's cooperation with that. And by the way, just so you know, our participants can see the timer right down here, so that's what they're able to look at. All right, well, it's time for our next presenter, and that is going to be Rebecca with Muddy Marley's Dog Wash.
Treats.
1,000 words. These pictures are what my customers deal with on a daily basis. Hi, I'm Rebecca Mulvane, and I'm the owner of Muddy Marley's Dog Wash. Even Fido needs a spa day. I have 30 years of experience in dog care and maintenance. There is no question that the pet industry is gigantic. In 2016, pet owners spent $66.75 billion, and it's projected in 2017 they're going to spend $69.36 billion. As an entrepreneur, it's almost irresponsible not to try to get a piece of that. Value proposition, home washing versus Muddy Marley's. And the home washing, it's too hard for a dog to get in and out, especially dogs that are older, arthritic. You can only reach one side at a time. There's no restraint. Easy escape. We've got a runner. So you have to wash your dog, hold your dog. So unless you have 8 arms, it's almost impossible. You end up as wet as the dog. So some people strip naked, get in the tub, and take a shower with their dog. And there's hours of cleanup afterward. Wet towels, tub, and a drain full of disgusting dog hair. Whereas Muddy Marley's Dog Wash, easy in and out. We clean up for you. Easily accessed on both sides, and they're ADA compliant. Restraints and aprons, right? Your dog's not going anywhere, and we're going to keep you nice and dry. And also there's dryers available where at home you wouldn't have that option. So my target market, dog owners in the Hampton to West Point, New Kent areas, and also something to consider, lots of people going on vacation are starting to take their pets with them, right? So I want to take advantage of that market and cater to their needs while they're here in Williamsburg, kind of enhance that experience that they have here while they're here. So cost of getting customers, we're creative, right? We're a startup, we're broke. So keeping our costs low. Facebook, live posts and feeds, Instagram feeds. We've been featured on Williamsburg radio for free. Anything we can think of to kind of be creative and get out there. So our revenue generation, we're looking at already a 57% margin at this time. We have 2 services to choose from, a wash and go and a spa treatment. So I like to explain it this way. It's kind of like getting your car washed. You can either do the basic service or the next up service, right? So the basic wash and go is just a wash and go, towel dry, and you're out of there. Spa treatment is a little bit extra. Blueberry facial, ear cleaning, teeth cleaning, things of that nature. And you can do it either yourself or full service. So the position in the network, let's face it, self-serve dog washing isn't a new option, right? But here's where we're a little bit better. My competition uses a stainless steel tub. And while they're good, they're not great. They're loud. They're claustrophobic for your dog. And they're slippery inside. Their nails make a tink, 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 tink sound. You can only wash one side at a time. You wash one side, unrestrained, turn them, re-restrain. You're going to have another runner. It reminds dogs of the vet. The vet uses this. Dogs aren't stupid, they remember. So they see this and they're like, Arr! Big dogs have a hard time fitting in. On ours, you can reach both sides. The mats prevent slipping and noise. Dogs have space to see and hear, and big and little dogs can fit. So to maintain value, we're going to continue collaborating and nurture relationships. We're going to have referral reward programs. We're going to knock the socks off our customers. And we're going to continue our media outreach. So current, I've already spent $3,000. I require $50,000 to open my doors. I'm going to maintain that competitive edge with getting a groomer. First location in Williamsburg in 6 months and pursue franchising options. And even Fido needs a spa day. Now, it wouldn't be right without introducing Marley herself. Marley, come on down. Marley! Imagine getting this into your tub. Questions?
All right, that's time. Judges?
customer experience now, start to finish with your competition?
So from start to finish, I've visited a few dog washes here on the East Coast since I've been back to the West Coast. And what it's like is you walk in, it's a very small area here in Newport News, and it's attached to their actual grooming section. And it was disgusting and dirty. It was very neglected. Whereas in ours, it's more of a spa experience. It's clean. It's shiny. It's something that I would expect if I wanted to go in and wash my dog. I wouldn't have washed it at the locations that I checked out at here in Newport News, sir.
Are you looking to co-market this with anybody, like veterinarians or other?
I'm not, but what I'm going to do that's a little bit different is I'm going to invite vets in for shot clinics, some educational pieces for my customers to kind of bring that piece into our business without partnering with them.
So this would be like a full, not sort of thing, only for spas for dogs, nothing
Right.
else.
Question, I'm all at the bottom line. I actually washed my dog last night, and I sort of get the thing about that we're dealing with here. So you said $50,000 to open the business.
Yes.
What does that $50,000 go for? And then at that point, once you open, what would be your anticipated monthly cost, and how soon would you expect to break even? We kind of had that conversation on Friday, but tell me about that.
Okay, so the $50,000 goes towards build-out costs, goes towards the purchase of the spa tubs, which are $1,900 a piece, goes towards the plumbing and electrical that's involved with installing all that equipment, signage. So when I sat down with the store counselor, that's what we came up with for an opening cost. And to maintain that, I would need to wash at least $300 per month.
How many employees?
I have 2 dog washers at this time. Yes, sir.
The difference in markup between self-serve and full service was not very much.
It wasn't.
I mean, I don't know, unless I really wanted to wash my dog, I still would hand it off to you. Is that why you priced it that way?
I
or-
did. I really wanted to encourage people to use the spa treatment instead because it is an only additional $5. Anybody can afford an extra $5. So that was my reason for doing that way.
So how are you gonna reach customers?
So currently what we do now is we've been collaborating with microbreweries where you can already bring your dog. So we've offered to collaborate with them so we can wash dogs while they enjoy their beer, or they can wash dogs before or after beer. We've collaborated with right? So we've also collaborated with Heritage Humane Society, so after drool in the pool, when the dogs were already all wet, we washed all their dogs, and it was fantastic. But things like that really get the word out, really kind of get the awareness out, and we've been trying to do creative things like that to get the name and the word out, and it's been working.
So it sounds like you are doing something now. You have some facilities. What do you have now as far as ability to wash dogs?
So what we're doing now is we've just been primarily doing the pop-up all summer. So now we're not doing it because it's too cold now. So that's why I'm focusing on opening the retail space. It worked out well this summer. It told me that we're doing the right things. And so now I'm focusing on opening the brick and mortar.
How did you get customers? And you use these same techniques to get customers for your pop-up as you did the other?
Yes.
All right.
So why move though? So I get that it's cold and all that stuff, but a lot of food trucks have been trying to go into a brick and mortar restaurant. They fail miserably. Why are you seeing that transition as something that you should do when there's a lot more overhead?
So what we're going to do is we're not going to quit the pop-up game. We're going to continue the traveling roadshow to keep advertising up. But I feel like to give the customer the overall feel and spa experience, I think it's important to open up the brick and mortar and really bring that customer base in that they really could benefit
Do
from.
you feel that, or they're telling you that?
Both.
They're-
Does your business require any sort of liability insurance?
It does. It requires liability insurance. It did take me quite a while to find an insurance company that would take me because of the self-serve piece, but I do have someone that will insure us.
How much should we charge?
It costs approximately 400 to 500 per year for now because my business is so small.
Okay, that's time. I gotta get my balls on this one.
Thank you.
Great job.
Good job, Marley. Good.
All right, let's go on to our third pitcher. And we have Crave with Mr. Carson Sweezy. Where you at, Carson?
He's fine.
Do a dance.
He's usually
Do a
the last
dance.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
You guys seen me tap dance before?
one. I
No, I
know.
really can. I'm not even kidding.
Okay, we'll
Alright, ready?
we'll boo you off the stage.
Wow, nice.
Break dance, as in break my leg trying? Yeah, maybe.
Sing a song.
No, I won't sing a song.
You taught us
But
to
I like
do
music.
it. What has been your favorite experience this weekend?
You know what? That's a good question. I do want to address that, actually. So this is my 4th time emceeing Star Peninsula, 6 times being present at the event, and have served as a mentor before. And I think probably my favorite thing about the entire weekend is just seeing the incredible amount of growth that happens with the participants in just like 48 short hours. It is really amazing to see.
Time.
And
I'm back.
dude, I walked right into that one, by the way. But I also gotta say, because I'm gonna finish that statement, that the camaraderie that happens among the participants and the friendships that happen, you see friendships form that last well beyond this event. So anyway, that's probably my favorite thing. Thank you for asking. All right, so with that, let's give it up for Carson.
Chris on the spot. So thanks. I'm gonna wait till the PowerPoint comes up. Thanks for coming out on a Sunday night, though. Appreciate it. This is like Shark Tank for you guys in the audience.
It's Sunday?
It is Sunday, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
I haven't slept in a couple days. So.
All right, Carson, you ready to go?
All right. So remember back in college, Zach specifically at West Virginia, after a crazy night of studying on Friday, waking up Saturday morning and somehow feeling a little sick in your bed and wondering what the heck's going on, not wanting to trek across campus to one of the cafeterias to grab some food. Your other options were like Domino's or some subpar pizza place maybe. Pizza's great, but you can't survive on food alone. Well, the college dining industry hasn't changed much since people have been in college. And in fact, at William & Mary, it's gotten worse. So earlier this summer, at the College of William & Mary, half of the partnered restaurants that students could use part of their meal plan to eat at were closed down. Just out of the blue, closed down. The students were completely frustrated. As you can imagine, they were paying the same amount for a meal plan, for an inflated meal plan now, because half the options were gone. Same price for a meal plan. So we were banging our heads against the wall, wondering what we could do, right? We're students there. We wanted to try to create some kind of solution, but we weren't exactly sure what. So we put it out to them. We did a couple of surveys, and within 36 hours, we got over 350 responses. It blew our minds. We knew that this was a problem, that people were interested, but that we got that many responses in such a short period of time really showed us that this was something that needed to happen. So, next slide shows, these are some responses, verbatim, from the last question we had in the survey, which was very open-ended. It said, what else would you like us to know, or what other thoughts do you have about dining at William & Mary? So unprompted. And you can see how heartfelt some of these responses were. I'm not going to read them for you, but just look at Sodexo is the current catering company at William & Mary, so point of reference for that. Got a lot that said the food sucks and similar things. So we wanted to know what we could do, right? Our MVP, just thinking about what we could provide value to today without creating some kind of crazy infrastructure, developing an app for food delivery, or anything else, was just going out and fulfilling orders. So students would text us, they'd text my cell phone, it's in my pocket, I'd go out, go to Chipotle, I'd order it, I'd bring it to the students, they'd pay me with Venmo, which is a peer-to-peer payment processing app, or cash. Really simple, right? Simple MVP. So we did about 200 orders in 8 weeks doing that. And this shows how much they value it. So it's really simple. We're just delivering food, right? But we get responses like this, and it honestly makes us excited. So responses like this forced us to kind of rethink what we were doing. This wasn't just solving the problem on campus, but we were offering sort of like a authority of food, right? So if you think back in childhood and beyond, food is such an essential part of humanity, right? So being able to share a meal with someone and providing a meal to someone, it's almost like a maternal instinct. You're giving them something and they're really appreciating the value that you're giving, right? Now, not to like blow this up too much, it's just food delivery, right? But when was the last time that you got that excited about the Domino's guy coming? Right? Pizza's amazing again, but it's just some stranger. It's a little awkward. We're students. We're delivering to our peers. It's that kid from chemistry or from the Frisbee team that you've seen. You've seen him a million times around campus. He's coming to you, he's bringing you Chipotle, which otherwise seemed thousands of miles away for what it's worth for these kids that don't have cars, right? And you're getting it delivered to your dorm. So we get responses like this. So this is a two-sided marketplace. Of course, we have the students at one end, live on campus, don't have a car. On the other end, we have our drivers, or delivery heroes, we call them. These are people with a little bit of extra time on their hands and interested in solving this problem. Not only are they interested in making some money, but they're interested in solving the problem. I'll show you a little bit later what one of the delivery heroes said in his application. These are some of the rough numbers. So we've averaged about 1,500 in sales this month, or each month, I'm sorry. I looked at the clock, I shouldn't have. And we're looking to partner with the restaurants and take a commission of sales, similar to places like Order Up, where we take a 20% commission. That profit margin, it looks inflated because we don't see any expenses on there. We don't have expenses right now. The entire fee goes to the delivery hero. So they're covering their costs on their end. They're making money on their end. Our end, we're using free software. On the back end, we're using project management and workflow engines that are free and we have credits for. So we have no overhead right now. Now we're looking to expand. Part of the seed funding will go towards expansion into CNU, ODU, Hampton, etc. We have other options of getting revenue that I can get to later. So this is the competitive landscape. The big advantage we have is that we're students. We can get into dorms where Order Up, Grubhub, and Uber Eats don't have access. We have access. We know the campus. We know our way around. We have access to the buildings. Those are our partners on the bottom, and on the right are options that students can go to if they want to walk.
Okay, so we're going to transition to Q&A. I'm sure you want to get asked some questions.
Yeah,
for the rest of the
So, you talked a lot about the school dining system, and then you're talking about them paying you personally, basically.
Right.
Is there any kind of actual tie-in to the actual school's dining system currently? That's $2,000 a semester? Or is it completely, you're trying to get them not to buy that dining piece?
It's a great question. So there's a couple of ways to look at it. First, yeah, currently it's extra income that they're paying, because like you said, they're already paying for the meal plan. One way that we're looking at, thanks to Sean's suggestion and they're kind of thinking about things, is something called Express, specifically William & Mary, where we can apply to be an Express partner. These are places that can use like a college-owned debit system, so you can buy your laundry on there, you can buy textbooks and stuff like that, and students have leftover money at the end of the semester because they just have money.
But they're still tied to whatever they bought from a meal plan perspective. So if they bought 21 meals, they would still have the 21 meals and whatever on top
Correct.
of it.
Yeah, currently. So we eventually, sorry, just to round off that answer, we would look to become a partner with the school as a flex option, which would be taking some of that income.
So knowing that Sodexo, I'm sure, has a crazy 5 to 15 year contract with them,
Yes.
where they can charge those ridiculous fees.
Yeah.
How are you going to change that then?
So we become a flex partner. So right now they have limited flex partners. Those were the restaurants I mentioned that closed down. So they closed down 2 of them and they didn't replace them with anything. So we would look to become a potential flex partner with Sodexo so that we can use that money to go buy Chipotle for students.
So building off of Zach's point, Sodexo is a concessionaire, right? So when you go to a toll plaza, you aren't really talking to a Starbucks employee, you're talking to whoever is the concessionaire. So I guess I'm struggling with understanding who your competition is. Is it both the concessionaire and the extension to an existing food delivery service tied to an existing retailer, or is it, I guess I'm struggling with it.
Yeah, so there's kind of 2 competitive ones. There's like these auxiliary aggregate deliverers. There's also restaurants that have delivery like Panera, and then there is the campus caterers like Sodexo. So, I mean, currently there's a gap in that Order Up and Grubhub and Uber Eats aren't on this campus. They're not on many campuses because the demand doesn't make sense. They have to find part-time workers and stuff like that. But when we're controlling the demand because students want it and they have peers bringing them what they need, we're going against them directly. Yeah, I saw your eyes pop up.
Yeah, so, yeah, you make $5 a delivery, is that correct?
The delivery here makes $5 per delivery.
So how many employees do you have? What happens if you have 10 deliveries at one time? You know, $5 a person, how are you gonna scale that? I see that you're gonna go to the schools and everything, but how are you as a business owner gonna make money at the end of the day? Because, you know, really, I mean, think about $10, $7,500, $5,000, that's a lot of money to invest into that. So let's talk scale, let's talk some real dollars here, more than $5 a delivery.
Yeah, so that all goes to the Delivery Hero. We're partnering with the restaurants. So let's say we do $1,000 worth of sales for Chipotle in a given month. We would take 20% of that, so we'd get $200 just for Chipotle alone. We're actually going to them, and we can do that in a tiered approach. We can say, hey, if you just want us to pick up the food, we'll do it for 15%. If you want us to do some marketing for you, we'll do it for 25%. So marketing directly to students. Yeah.
So you talked Friday about like a home cooked option type thing, and how's that handled? And what happens if people are dissatisfied with the service of the food? How are you handling a student that doesn't deliver well or it's cold, doesn't taste good?
That's a great question, Bill. So this weekend helped us focus on what we need to work on right now, which is scaling out the delivery side and working with schools somehow to just provide other options, right? So the homemade food option is definitely on the table, but I'd rather us focus on this, you know, still kind of the MVP. People want the Chipotle, people want Chick-fil-A, and we can provide Panera and stuff like that to them. So to the other end on how do we manage, you said something about if a delivery hero is...
They're dissatisfied either with the food or with the delivery. They gotta wait an hour for food or whatever.
Yeah, so we're completely transparent, and that's helped us throughout the process. I mean, early on, I was in class, it was just me, I got an order, hey, can you bring me Chick-fil-A? It's 4:20, I'm in class, I'll text them, I can do it by 5:50, is that too late for you? So we're just transparent. I mean, to be honest, we're transparent with them, and they appreciate that. If they know that they're waiting for food until, 6 o'clock, as long as they know that ahead of time, they're beyond thrilled. They say, yes, thank you so much, like, we're excited. So obviously it's not completely scalable, but that's what some of the seed funding would go towards. How do we develop some of these processes that we can really handle the back end and engage with our customers on a support level?
What's your biggest problem you're having now?
Biggest problem,
10 seconds.
So just scaling the demand and the supply at the same time. Customers are easy to scale. Delivery here is trying to scale that two-sided marketplace.
I think the biggest problem is that we're out of time.
Looks like it. Thanks, Rick.
All right. All right. Should we do another picture or more tap dancing?
Pitch, please.
Pitch? Okay, great. Next up, we have Duncan with a Fortify. Come on up. Come on, guys. Bring them up.
So, I want you to imagine you're on the market for a house. Okay? But I'm going to take away two things from you. I'm going to take away your budget, so you don't know what you're going to spend. And I'm going to take away your income. You currently aren't making any money. You might later, but you're not right now. Okay? I'm going to give you something. I'm going to give you internet access. All the data you find is 3 years old. What you're imagining is what it's like to be a high schooler today trying to pick a college. And it's a big problem. That's how we look at problems. We try to look for problems that are large in scale, neglected, and easy to solve. And we think we found one here. $1.5 trillion in debt. No one has an effective solution to this yet, and I think we have a solution that's pretty simple. We want to get good data in the hands of families and counselors so they can empower students and help them create budgets. Well, and about budgets. So we have budgets for everything. We have budgets for houses. We have budgets for cars. We have budgets for groceries. I think it's about time we had a budget for college as well. Now, this weekend's all about proving this ballot. Can we make money doing this? And this is a new idea. We don't have customers ourselves. So what we did is we were looking for people who are currently serving our audience in a different way, and they're doing it well. These are two companies we found. One, Naviance, is an institution that's currently serving schools. They're helping high schoolers through the school get into colleges. we want to offer a complimentary product. Another company who took a different route is called Scala. You may have heard of them on Shark Tank. They help students get scholarships. And both of them, in two different models, same customer base, same type of thing, are both seeing a lot of success here. And we think we can work with them even and replicate what they're doing with a slightly different offering. The market is large. There are a lot of schools in the U.S., and millions of families every year are sending their kids to college. Now, we wanted to start talking to some of those families, starting to get feedback. And what we did is we built, a few weekends ago, in about 48 hours, we built a really simple prototype, just so we could spark some conversation and start to see what they would think when they were interacting with this. Now, how this works is you pick a career, and then you pick a college, and it returns, as you can see here, it returns your starting salary minus taxes, so we're starting to set expectations right from the get-go. And then when they enter a college, it starts with the worst-case scenario. And what it does is it shows you for 10 years, realistically, how much money you're going to have to spend on things. And the details of this aren't important, but people's reactions were what were important. Getting the feedback from that was awesome. And my favorite thing, go ahead and skip back to the thank you. So my favorite thing was that people would lean in and say, that's interesting. And then they'd give us ideas. They'd be like, what if you added this? What if it did this? And that made us excited. So, now, business model. For this, we ended up taking, once again, we looked to what other people were doing successfully, and we took their success and then scaled it down. So the assumption is if they're doing it at that scale, we scale it down, it's more likely we're able to do it. So we started with just Virginia. And if you take 5%, just 5% of the high schoolers moving to college in Virginia alone, it's 10,000 students. Now, looking at our competitors' pricing options, we figured a lifetime value for a student moving from high school to college, for us, $40 is perfectly reasonable. And if we're able to achieve 5% of the market share by 2020, that would be our annual revenue. Now, how do we actually get those people? So this problem is huge. People know about this problem, but there's not currently a solution for it, but people are talking about it. If you go on the internet and look for this, there are activists, there are groups, there are people around this, and they're looking for a solution. And we want to get in with those people. We want to get in with counselors. I've talked to many, and they're interested, and parents are interested. If you go on Quora and look at how many people are trying to find advice for like managing the cost of college, it's huge. We want to get in on this conversation, starting in Virginia and then scaling out. Now, us. So my name is Duncan. I'm studying product design. My partner is Tyler. He's studying to be a software engineer at William & Mary. And we're young. We're learning at this point. But this actually isn't our first time doing something like this. In high school, we built a rough around the edges product that we continue to iterate on for 2 years, and since then we've helped over 100,000 students get better grades. And what we want to know now is, if we took what we learned in that experience and reapplied it to something like this, what kind of impact could we have in students' lives? Thank you.
So I hope that rough around the edges technology used for savings was legal. We didn't hack into teachers' score sheets, but anyway. So I guess I'm a little confused.
Sure.
So can we go back to your assumptions, or maybe I'm sorry, that may not be fair, but let's go back to assumptions.
Assumptions?
Yeah, you talked about if you just capture 5% of. So tell. I'm not so interested in the numbers, but tell me about the logic that you arrived to come to this. You mentioned it. Walk me through that, please.
Absolutely. Yeah, we kept going back and forth about this slide because we don't have the numbers yet. You know, we don't have the evidence, and we want evidence. That's how we drive the formatting company we have that helps students now. So the first thing we want to do starting one day is starting to get data that we can actually put numbers on the screen of what is possible, what are people willing to pay. We came to this conclusion because we wanted to show what is a scaled-down version of what's currently happening. This is way scaled down. Something we feel is possible based on what we've experienced with our other service.
Okay. I like the evidence argument. Tell me how you're going to get the evidence.
How we're going to get the evidence? So expanding on the prototype we have, we're going to continue getting in with local high schools. Our first plan is to, and I'm in communication with local private schools and local public schools about starting to work on this, iterating through this and getting it from students and getting feedback from them, talking with people online, trying to get a sense of what the interest is. I don't know, does that answer your question? Okay. Thank you.
I'm still a little fuzzy on exactly what your revenue model is. I get you don't know how much to charge for your revenue model, but what is the revenue model?
Sure. So, it's a good point. So, Scholly, I think, is doing a good job with this, and I think to start, somewhere to start, we don't want to bring it into we're going to try doing something similar to what they're doing, and that is offering a low monthly cost that gives you access to tools, premium tools in this case. We're also thinking about experimenting with resources, guides, maybe videos, ebooks, those kind of things as well. But primarily, initially, what we want to focus on is getting that data in the hands of people for a low cost. And then parents are going to be paying with that.
So I would assume there's more functionality than what we just saw, because I mean, that's a
Absolutely.
5-second
Yeah,
analysis.
we built that in 48 hours. So that was literally just to get something in front of people.
But can you give me an idea, so in addition to me knowing what the general cost of my income might be and my college cost might be, what other things would I get that would require me to keep coming back to this over time so that
Great
your
question.
revenue model works?
Okay, absolutely. So they're not actually going to see the price until we have shown them expectations of what could happen. You know, the possibilities of, so it's like, if you were, let's take a 2-income family who's not going to get a lot of financial aid. Odds are they're going to pay something close to the sticker price for that school. So we want to give them a clear picture of what that sticker price is, and then provide a whole bunch of information about similar schools with similar offerings and scholarships and other ways they get the price down. That way they can start with, okay, this is what's going to happen if we don't do anything, and here's all the things we can do to make it affordable.
Okay.
Yes, I didn't make that clear. Thank you for asking about that.
So is that data available from schools then?
It is not. I mean, we can get it. It's not actually like on their websites.
Yeah.
It is available on their websites, each individual website, and it's broken down usually
And
in PDFs.
a lot of times in this kind of case, schools don't want people to really know the answer. I feel like, you know, if there's so many 1.7 trillion in debt, you know, schools are a business and they want to make that money, so they don't necessarily want people to know that you're going to be in debt for the rest of your life. So do you ever see it? It's true. I mean, the numbers show it. Do you see, like, with schools probably going away in some sort of form, how is this going to continue to be a solution for the future if schools are going to be on the decline?
Absolutely. So we see this, I mean, as you can see, like, the idea we have is education is about getting you to a place where you're going to have a successful life, like where the rest of your life is going to, the numbers are going to add up. And it should start with a career, right, or a job, or just something you're interested in. And starting with that, I want to incorporate like boot camps and things. If someone were to put development in there, let's show them a few boot camps in the area that have like actual empirical data that backs them up, that their participants have a salary afterwards. If they have that data, we'll incorporate them into this, and then users will get that feedback when they search. So there won't just be colleges and this, but to simplify it, this weekend we talk about colleges.
Oh, sorry. We have like 10 seconds. Sure.
No, go
Real
ahead.
quick.
I would even look at maybe not schools, but other careers and trying to partner with those type of companies that are looking for those solutions as you move forward.
Thank you.
All right, great job. Okay, next up, we've got Jacob with Bag at Flushables.
Sure.
Has this been used before?
Is this what I have to use now?
It's yours. Here. Let me catch it right here.
Yes. We see the one like yours actual. Wow.
Can we bring Marley back in here?
Mr. Barley.
We need a bigger bag.
This is wow.
Okay, let's give these guys a welcome.
Good evening. We're back at Flushables, and we're asking dog owners to flush it. Did you know that there's 70 million dogs in the United States? Those dogs go to the bathroom 2 times per day, 365 days per year. 51 billion piles of waste that need to go somewhere. The reason we care about this amount of waste is that dog waste is toxic. It's full of pathogens and bacteria. An EPA study showed that 20% of the bacteria in the Seattle watershed was sourced directly from dogs. 4% of the volume of the San Francisco Bay Area landfill, dog waste. Beyond just the environment, there's a societal cost here. Elevated bacteria levels in our waters, high trash disposal cost rates, proliferation of landfills. This is a serious issue we're talking about. So our solution is to flush it. Why not? It's recommended by the EPA. It has been since 2001. Let's put waste where waste goes, in a disposal system. And we're the team to make that happen. I'm Jake Crowber, and this is Dan Tester. We met as freshman year college roommates at the United States Coast Guard Academy. 4 years later, we served together for 2 years out of Boston, Massachusetts. Now Dan is a highly educated patent attorney, and I'm still in the Coast Guard. But we're working on that. All right, so this is the team. Here's what we're going to do.
The EPA has been recommending that pet owners flush it for over 16 years now, but there's been no good way to do it. And that's why we created Bag of Flushables. Bag of Flushables allows pet owners to flush it cleanly and safely every time. The patent pending tearaway strip allows the bag to flush cleanly every time and separates us from our competition.
So, 76% of millennials are more likely to spend money on their dogs than on themselves. So, our target customer is a dog owner who happens to be a millennial and shops online. An educated, skilled professional, and it just so happens that this person may own 2 escape rooms. Looking a little bit broader here, there are 37.4 million millennial dog owners who self-identify themselves as environmentally conscious. Digging a little bit deeper into that, 18.7 million of those people live in suburbs and walk their dogs on leashes, and that's our true market here. It turns out that the Hampton Roads region is ideal for our product. It's a good mix of urban and suburban communities. There's a high concentration of millennials, and we have 380,000 dogs in this region alone.
Not only are our bags exciting, but so are our numbers. This is how Bag of Flushables is going to make money. Our unit cost is $7.80 per 60 bag package. We're planning to put out 60 bag packages to make it attractive to monthly subscribers who pick up after their dogs 2 times a day. Selling it over Amazon, our marginal logistics cost is going to be $2.71, and our retail price is $12.99. This gives us a gross profit of $2.78 and a gross margin of over 21%. Based on our anticipated fixed and variable costs, we're expecting our break-even volume to be about 3,100 units, which is only 262 monthly subscribers. This number is less than 1/1000th of the 18.7 million people in our target market.
For our marketing strategy, we partnered with the City College of New York with their MBA grad program. We've got 4 MBA grad students developing our marketing strategy for this semester. We've broken it into 3 phases. First phase 1 is to optimize the website. Phase 2 is where we reach out and engage with our local community and get feedback from the local community about what they want. And then phase 3 is really where we pursue and start to distribute from third-party distributors.
So far, we've self-funded Bag of Flushables, and our main expenditures have been product development, the patent filing, and attending a plastics conference. In the future, we're going to need funding for initial inventory costs of about $5,000 to $8,000, product liability insurance of about $4,000 to $6,000, and an initial advertising campaign on Facebook and Google AdWords, which should cost between $5,000 and $15,000 depending on funding. At the end of the day, Bag of Flushables adds value to not only society, but also our target market. Let's get America to flush it.
Okay, so there's a patent attorney on the team. I have to ask, you made much of the argument around the green environmental aspect. Tell me what happens when this goes into solution. What do you do to the waste stream? Toxicity, pH, total dissolved solids, things like that.
The bag is made out of polyvinyl alcohol, which is a material that's actually already in the waste stream. It's used commonly for dishwasher pods, laundry detergent pods, and it's safe even for use in human implants, contact lenses,
me what the patent landscape looks like. You've done some prior art search here, I would imagine.
We have.
Right. And I would imagine some of the examples you use, people have thought about protecting, P&G or whoever, got a patent attorney, law firm, whoever did it. Tell me what you saw that's a clear space.
What we're attempting to, or what we're seeking to protect on our bags is the tearaway feature on it. Basically, there PVA films exist, there are PVA bags, but none of them include a tearaway feature, which solves the problem of flotation. Once you pick up dog waste, tie it, and put it in the toilet, you don't want it to float and clog the system.
I think we're gonna need more explanation. What's the difference between the green and the white bag? And what is the tearaway feature? Because we're noticing that this bag is clearly, I don't wanna handle my dog waste with this particular bag.
So the white to clear bag that you're holding is a handmade prototype, and that's
Okay.
probably why it pulled a little bit. The green ones are made. We're in final talks with the manufacturer right now. The green one was made in their facility, but there are detailed differences that we want in the location of the perforated line that is the tear area.
So when you're giving me, when you're talking about the tearaway, I have my roll of bags, and you're talking about that spot where I separate one bag from another. Is that what you mean by the tearaway feature?
Sure. So exactly what we're talking about here is that you're going to take this bag and you're going to walk your dog, and you're going to go to your house right now, and this already happens with the other products, is you drop in the toilet and you go to flush it. But because you've tied a knot in that bag, as most dog owners do, that bag sits on the surface of the water. Or even worse, it goes a couple of little ways into your pipes and it stops because it's a bubble there. So what we've done and how we separate ourselves from the competition and why we're better than everyone else is that we have this tearaway strip that we're working on patent protecting. So you essentially all you're doing is you're popping an air pocket and you're flushing the bag, and that way the bag flushes cleanly with the rest of the waste.
Make that a selling point.
They tried, we dismissed it.
I must have.
Good job on figuring out your target customer and stuff like that, but I'll go even deeper. How many of those people actually care about this, right? So to me, it seems like you have trash can, recycling bin, and now someone else is gonna walk the poop around for multiple minutes and now take it into my house, where my dog actually goes on an hour walk 5 to 6 times. And so now I'm sure that's a lot of dogs, so now I have to take it back into my house. Like, how have you seen that people are actually going to do that dramatic change instead of just putting it in the trash can?
Sure, so we thought exactly down that line, right? So we gave you a number of 18.7 who suburban millennials who walk their dogs on leashes, right? We looked at it a different way as well, and we thought about, well, what's a similar activity? And we thought of millennial population who bring the grocery bags to the store, right? That's a population that clearly cares about the environment, and they've already taken an active step. So when we look at that number, that's like 9.6 million people. So we think that may be a little more comparable, if you want to look at it that way, because those people are already taking action for the environment. This seems to be a similar step.
So how long does this take to degrade? Flush down the toilet with months?
Sure. So as while Dan was talking, I dropped a bag in earlier, and this is what we're looking at right now. It's pretty quick. It's not instant. It can't be instant, right? You need to finish your walk. If you take hour-long walks, you need to make it back to your house and to flush this bag. I promise you, our bags will make that.
So you talked about, and I just want to make sure, 60 bags is $7. Is that what the numbers were? Because I buy 900 bags for $12 on Amazon right now. What are the real numbers? Like, how much is it going to cost the customer in that kind of way? Like 1,000 bags, how many will that cost me?
Our retail pricing is going to be for 60 bags. It'll be $12.99, which is on par for products that are made out of polyvinyl alcohol.
So that's your sale price, your retail price at $12.99?
Yeah, $7.
Right.
All right, so yeah, Amazon, you sell it to Amazon for $7 because they're gonna take half of that, right? And then what's your unit, what's your actual cost of goods?
Okay, that's gonna be it.
Oh, come on, let him answer the cost of goods question.
Okay.
They don't want to answer it.
So,
All right, let's give them one more round of applause. Can we leave a couple of the bags up front if people want to see afterwards? Or
absolutely.
Whatever? Okay, next up we've got Cassie with Dorm Storage Plus.
Oh, you want that?
There you go.
Let's get real. Moving your kids out of college and back in sucks. Been there, done it, have the t-shirt. All right, so my name is Cassie, and I run Dorm Storage Plus. And like any mom that has a problem, you get together with other moms and you whine. Both the complaint and the glass. All right, and then we think, why can't we just leave them there? Why do they have to be so far away? So, what's the problem? When you're moving your kids out of college, you've got to rent a vehicle, you've got to drive, you've got to load it up, you're fighting other parking problems. It's a hassle. But even as bad as it is for the parents, for the students who don't have that parental help, they're trying to find their boxes. How can I store it? Where can I store it? And when am I going to take this time to study for my finals? All right, what's the solution? Dorm Storage Plus. We provide all the materials needed to pack up your dorm room. We pick it up from the dorm room, store it in a secure and climate-controlled facility, and then return it at the beginning of the next school year. Super easy. The parents love it. I'm sending you a plane ticket home. I'm picking you up. We're going out to dinner, and we're headed out. All right? We're done. Now, in Hampton Roads alone, there's 42,000 undergraduates. So this is a great big market with lots of potential. All right? So who all is trying to get to this potential? These are my competitors besides me. First off, there is a dorm franchise, Dorm Movers franchise. When I did a little secret shopping, and when you go to them, you're going to pay per box, per item, per month. Okay? You don't really know what you're paying until they actually get there. You have moving companies, but you still have to find the labor, the storage. They don't usually provide delivery. And then finally, you have your free option, which is your friend and relatives. But be warned, when you do this, you might get this. I have seen it. Just let me know. All right. So how do we stand out from all of this? All right. Well, the first thing we do is we provide excellent customer service with a personal touch. The next big thing is we offer flat rates. You know what you are paying. There's no guesswork. And then on top of that, we grandfather the student in. So what you pay with me at the first year is what you're going to pay every single year, even if my prices go up. This way you can budget for it. And then finally, we are local, so we are available and able to help you when needed. All right, so now, how do they find us? They don't. We go hang out where they hang out, from their school functions to their eateries to the campuses. We have the mobile thing, all right? So now that we have them, how are we going to get their money from them? All right, first off, let me remind you, the competitor pays per box per item. I did the secret shopping, it cost me about $820. That's pretty big. So I offer the flat rate, all right? We charge $600 a student. Our cost of goods is $417, which gives us a profit of about $183 with a profit margin of 30%. So based on the 30 students we had in 2017, we netted a profit of $5,500. Now our cost of goods, of course, include the boxes, the transportation, the labor, etc. So where did we come from? Well, from the first wine therapy session in 2011, it was already April, so we didn't do much. But over the years, we've created a good name, we've created a logo, we've added a website. We consistently add schools, and we just keep growing about 5 students every year, so about 20%. Where do we want to go? Well, over the next few years, right now I'm talking to Atlantic Corrugate, and we're going to brand our own boxes. We've always tried to keep the overhead a little lower by using other people's boxes, but we're tired of advertising for them or having blank boxes, all right? We're going to create school teams this year. I'm going to have a student team at William & Mary, CMU, Hampton University. So logistically, we can add more students because we are dedicated to particular campuses. Finally, we're going to research what the plus in Dorm Storage Plus is going to be. What can that be? Military ditty moves, teachers, moving out of their classrooms for the summer, the Griswolds who have way too much Christmas stuff. And then finally, we will add more schools. ODU is going to be our next school that we will add to the roster. And then there's no reason why we can't keep on going and add a franchise option in the future. So, but to do this, part of the challenge is we want to maintain a debt-free status. How do we do that? We have to find reliable seasonal help because we are seasonal right now. Every time we add a school, we have to rebalance. And finally, centrally locating storage closer to each campus to keep transportations down. So the concept is simple, it's straightforward, but it's invaluable, and the growth potential is amazing. So the final thought for you is don't be surprised when you think college, you're going to see Dorm Storage Plus as a campus household name.
We got half a second left on the clock. That was great. Planned that perfectly, didn't
It was
you?
the high five.
It was the high
It was the high
five. If
five.
anyone else wants one, by the way, even audience members, just go for it. Okay. Judges.
So you talked about their cost and the cost that you could see. I'm interested in the hidden cost that you don't see and why maybe your scale would affect that. Meaning these other big companies who you're basically paying for their marketing, how you'll be able to keep your prices and then still get in front of the same amount of people that they are.
Okay, well, some of their hidden costs that they don't see is they go there and all of a sudden they realize, oh, well, you have a futon, or you have a microwave, or you have a fridge. Well, sorry, but this is going to be, you didn't say this, so it's going to be an extra $20. Our website has it on there, what they're going to pay if they have these items.
Please.
So, I'm trying to, you've got a seasonal market. I'm worried about the people. I mean, your brand is only as good as your people who are actually going in there and helping the students. How are you recruiting those people? How are you dealing with that problem?
Okay.
And how many of them do you need?
Well, as of right now, I'm using child labor.
Your own family does not count.
Yes, they're right behind you.
The family does not count.
Okay,
For scale.
but I do hire other college students, and I pay them $10 an hour to help out, and a lot of them, and then I have gotten suggestions that I'm going to research, which I think are really good options, is local Boy Scout troops, or Young Marines, and things like that, people who have to volunteer for some reason. But one thing that I always keep in mind is I always have a girl with us. I try to keep it like a doctor's office because most of my clients are girls. And to have a bunch of guys moving in and out, which I do have, I like to make sure that the security of the boxes and the student are secure.
Tell me, sketch out a mini case study on your give you one competitor. I know we've got the little metric on what they do, but what do you know about their size, their market footprint?
Well, Dorm Movers they do service William and Mary, and then they're a little further north. They do BCU and those schools, and I want to say they're up at Blacksburg as well, but they're still fairly localized. There is another one called Dorm to Dorm, but they're West Coast, and they pretty much have the same model. I did look into it when I first heard of this problem when we were sitting around talking. I was like, well, that might be a good idea, but the franchise thing was not for me just yet. I really prefer the customer service that I can give as a mom to my students. And I have been called the local mom.
Is there, if I understand correctly, is there a service component to this? I mean, when I mean service, are you consulting to families too? Are you telling them you want to save money, cut the amount of crap that you have by half, and then you'll start?
Yes, I am. I give them packing materials. I have worked with Hampton University. Hey, seniors, I do ship things home for the seniors if they want to, and I've tried to get them to do garage sales for the undergrads and things like that. So yes, I do talk to the families. We are out there on campus saying you can really reduce your price, and if you can get it all in this is what you're going to pay.
Okay, thank you. Well said.
No further questions? All right, we're done with that. Okay, let's see who else we got here. We have Tim. Where's Tim at? Iceberg Identity. Come on down, Tim.
Where'd it go? You deleted it. Come on, man.
So as you're doing that.
Good PowerPoint.
I I've been here 6 years, but I didn't get invited back the 7th because I deleted all the files.
All right.
You're a little bit out of order here, but.
Yeah, now you're in trouble.
I'm number 7.
Yep, there we are. Okay, good to go?
Now you
Start
can
from the
beginning of this
beginning.
presentation, Deb, yeah.
There we
That's
go.
nice of you.
All right.
The second that's coming to the weekend.
Alright. So, 500 PayPal accounts, 1,000 credit card numbers, and 8.7 million email accounts on average this year have been stolen every week. And the majority of that data is listed for sale on the dark web. That's a big problem. So I'm Tim Brown, the founder of Iceberg Identity Protection. Around 6 years ago, I started my hobby and business of designing and building websites for people. And around 2 years ago, I became involved in the dark web after 2 of my close friends killed themselves. They suicided. And that really bothered me. So in a nutshell, I decided that I had the potential to stop this from happening to people in similar situations. And I figured where else to go than the dark web. So I'm like, I get Tor, which is a special software that you need to get on the dark web. And I'm like, I log in, I'm one-on-one chatting, I find private messages, group chats, and I talk to people. And besides my ability to help these people, I also gained a general knowledge of how the dark web works and like what are the big markets around here and who's the big people on the dark web. And over time, I also gained access to referral-only marketplaces, which are marketplaces where someone that's already in the community has to invite you so you can be a part of that. So over time, I was able to gain access to that, and the result is that nowadays I have a significant dark web presence, and I realized that in addition to being able to help people on the dark web, I also have the potential to solve the problem, which is that most people never even heard of the dark web, while their stolen data is probably getting stolen and sold on the dark web. Just by myself, I've compiled a list of 306 million unique password and email combinations. And I also managed to download 43,000 stolen credit card numbers from Alphabet, which was the largest dark web marketplace until it got shut down last month. And the problem is that most people will never realize that their stuff has been stolen until someone buys gold with it in the Middle East, or buys an Uber in Russia, or sends themselves a smartphone in Hawaii. And 65% of all credit card fraud results in a financial loss. So that's about 2 in 3 people who have others spend their money and they freeze their credit, they call the card companies, but they can't get all their money back. So my solution was to develop a crawler system that scans each page on the dark web, and it looks in the database of all my customers' information, which includes email accounts and passwords, and it attempts to match the data to the page. And if their data is found on the dark web, that's bad. That's really bad. So we send them an automated message letting them know, hey, your information is found here. And we can also look at it ourselves to find out if like this is a big data breach that we really need to let people know about. And that way our customers can employ defensive strategies such as changing their password, sending their Bitcoins to this other wallet, freezing their credit, recovering their PayPal account, stuff like that. So the system scans the dark web once a day, and I want this service to be available to everyone, whether or not they necessarily want to or can afford to pay for it. So there's a free plan that's designed to protect only emails, which is the easiest thing to scan for, and it also scales the easiest. And then there's a paid subscription plan to cover other data such as credit and debit cards, PayPal accounts, passwords, Bitcoin wallets. So why we're different from our competitors, after the Equifax data breach, LifeLock and Experian have been like, yo, we need to scan the dark web for your email. And we do not want to scare our customers into this service. That's the last thing we want to do, because you don't have to be scared of the dark web. We want to educate our customers on how it really works. And we have a verified presence on the dark web, but we can say we're on Alphabet, Hands Market, all the markets. And they keep it vague because they're not really able to get into all these places. And also when our customers sign up, we'll match their data against all the past data breaches to let them know, hey, 4 or 5 years ago, your account was stolen and you might want to know about it. So how we're going to market this, we have content marketing is going to be a big way that we can get the word out about our product. Throughout my other websites, which are related about software, tutorials, and everything, I have about 50,000 users with emails that I'm going to reach out to as soon as the product launches. And then even if like 2% of them, 1 out of 50 signs up, that's 1,000 users I now have on my system, which is enough to get feedback and to be able to improve the product and work out the bugs, which there's probably going to be a lot of, before I actually try and go ham on marketing this to the whole world. And another thing I'm going to do is write some educational blog posts
because most people have never even heard of the dark web, which is basically any part of the internet that you can't find with a regular search browser such as Google or Bing. And the sites we're going to do this are Facebook and YouTube. So Facebook has Facebook Live and Facebook Ads, where you can target certain people that are already out there, already concerned about their identity. And then YouTube, where people are already searching for the dark web, and then we can just answer their questions like that in order to improve search engine optimization and let them know that we're ready to protect them on the dark web.
Great.
Tim, thank you. Sorry about your friends. Help me connect some dots, though. Are you saying that your technology has the potential to identify, use your example, my name being misappropriated, misused with certain personally identifiable information in a way that's unique?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay, so, and did I hear email is your current?
Yes, that would be the main thing that we would search for, because that would be the free plan.
So, and maybe this is, I'm illustrating my ignorance of the dark web, but I think of, if I'm breached, my PII is out there somewhere, I would imagine the genie's out of the bottle. How do you get information recovered if it's being circulated and recirculated?
Right, so we can't protect, like if your social security number's out there, we can't stop that from being out there. Our main goal is to, if we see your email or password show up, as soon as it shows up that day, we let you know, so you can take defensive strategies in order to protect that, such as freezing your credit or changing your password, for example.
And just one last question along this line. Do you make any representation about, when I think of an IT guy cleaning my computer, doing a 7-layer wipe or whatever, I know with certainty it's clean. When you do a, poor analogy, but do a dark web wipe, what can I represent to a customer? I've got.
So you're saying you want an example?
Well, no, what can you represent? What is my confidence level going to be that your service has solved this problem for me in part? Can you say,
Well, if your information does show up and we find it, then we can tell you where it was found, and we can give you enough details so you know it's accurate enough to identify maybe what site was breached that released that information.
Okay.
So it's more of a credit monitoring system, if you were from your financial statement, where they don't necessarily fix it. They let you know, hey, it's here.
Right, but it's for the dark web, and it's also not only for credit cards.
Sure.
So in this instance, I'm giving you all my information, email address, and my password, all my credit card numbers, etc., so that you can search the web once a day. So what happens if you search the web at 9 o'clock in the morning, at 9:15 you say, hey, everything looks fine, Xerxes, but then at 9:30 someone gets all my stuff, now I got this big credit card transaction happening in India, and now you look like...
Well, that's right, and right now I only have one server doing this, which my friend Caleb gave to me. It's worth like $400. So if I got some more funding, I could have maybe 25 servers in all these different countries, like running your data every 5 minutes, so we can prevent that guy in India.
Okay, so in that instance, what does that cost you then?
Right now.
Okay, so then as a customer, what am I paying you? What does it cost me a month or a day or whatever?
So if you had the paid subscription, you would be paying around $10 a month.
Okay. What's the profit margin for you in this instance?
Right now, or if I had 25 servers running. So my profit margin is $950 a month.
Okay, so
like minus credit card fees and minus the electricity to run the server, basically. Because like I already have web servers that I'm paying for, so that's not really a cost.
That's expensive. Okay. So you just need to have more of those.
That's right.
You keep talking about how you are a significant player on the dark web. How do you think, and none of us know if that's actually true, we're just gonna believe you, how do you take that and be able to then get to this next level where you can build a product out of that and not lose the credibility because now you're doing something with the dark web that you weren't allowed in for before? Does that make sense?
Well, that's right, and that's why when we have multiple personas, let's say, and on each site we can act like we're multiple people and invite ourselves, so no one knows who on the market exactly is. That's how law enforcement, it's the same tactic law enforcement uses to shut down child porn sites. They go on, they take over the admin account, or they have multiple accounts, so no one really knows who's who. That's the whole point of Tor, is to anonymize people.
Are you going to tell us who you are today?
Yes, I'm Tim Brown, founder of
Alright, here's a simple question. Why should I trust you? he has access to the dark web, but take someone that is worth a lot of money or a company. Why should they trust you?
Well, we are mainly marketing to the average general population, so I'm not going to be going around to super rich people and saying, hey, and I mean, if I lose their business, that's okay, it's $10 a month, and I'm trying to really get the average user who only has an email and a password, who got hacked on their credit card, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not really targeting super rich people. And if I lost their $10 a month, I would be
if I have $5,000 to my name and I lose $50, I'm gonna pay attention to it.
That's right.
If I have $10 million to my name and I lose $50, well, I might not pay attention. I might know that, but then that might be someone that accesses the dark web and say, how do I get $1 million?
Okay, well that's going to be it. Our time is up. Okay, let's keep it rolling with Erica from Mad Skills.
She's supposed to kill you. Welcome back.
So my very first experience as a young college student seeking employment also happened to be coupled with the experience of being a young new military spouse seeking employment. And unfortunately, that experience was not insular to that experience, but really traveled with me and has over the past 15 years and 9 moves. I walked into an office dedicated to supporting military spouse unemployment and asked the lady at the desk, "I'm here, what can I do? I'd like a job." Without even looking up from her desk, she pointed to the corkboard that was behind me, turned around to the corkboard, and there were 2 postcards there. The first postcard said house cleaning services. The second postcard said driving children to court-appointed psychology appointments. I applied for the second one. That was my only 2 options. And interviewed, but was not hired. I was told I was overqualified, and that as a spouse I would be leaving soon, and these children needed stability. So that really set the bar. And for the next 15 years, or 10 years at that point, I was not able to find employment. And it wasn't until I landed in Silicon Valley with my husband's assignment, and I joined an entrepreneurial veteran startup, that I found what it meant to be able to have a career. I was able to build a side consulting business, grow with this business for 5 years, and saw the opportunity that more military spouses should know about this. My co-founder, Liza Rodewald, who's in the audience with me today, she has been a software developer for 13 years and has run her own business remotely. She's had this experience, however, mostly before she became a military spouse. And when she became a spouse, she was astounded at the men and women around her in her neighborhood who were highly educated. If they were employed, they were underemployed, and she knew that that was an issue. So when we came together, we knew that there was something we could do. The rest of the faces you see are our newly developed team within the last 2 months, and they all have very similar stories. So what are we actually solving at Mad Skills? What we're solving for our customers is access to distributed talent. With a growing virtual and a growing global economy, businesses, no matter the size, from entrepreneurs to Fortune 500 companies, are struggling to find talent. They're struggling to find talent that can meet their needs. The local areas, the talent is often scarce, and if the talent's there, people can't afford to live there. So we are delivering that. Instead of casting this wide net out into job boards where people are just hoping to grab somebody in, we are like reaching down into an oyster bed and you're pulling out an oyster every time. We can deliver that. To the spouse, we're solving unemployment. We are actually creating virtual work opportunities for the military spouse community. And it becomes a player because nobody deserves to feel underutilized when they have a skill set that should be used. So the landscape of our spouse community that we call our military spouse talent community is over 1.1 million active duty spouses and 15 million veteran spouses. These are just some staggering statistics that come from a lot of research and time that has been put into the landscape of how military spouses are struggling with unemployment. And as you can see, a lot of underemployment rates. If they're unemployed, learning less than civilian counterparts. This is something that happens over and over and over again. So the important part is our customers, because that's how we are getting paid, and that's how we are actually creating more jobs for the military spouse community. So when we launched our MVP last fall, we started with Direct Hire, which is a subscription-based access site that you can come to, pay to post a position, and then filter through and hire a candidate from somebody who applies. And our organic traffic has been entrepreneurs and small businesses looking for somebody to grow their team. They've often used gig economy sites just to try to find remote team members, when really that's not what those sites are for. Through that, we evolved into our virtual staffing because we had larger companies come into us hiring a spouse and saying, you know, would that work? What would it look like if I could have 7? And what would that look like if you managed the team remotely and you sourced them and you found them and you helped me create this team? So our actual business model is a fee-based model for the subscription access, $197 a month. We do have a high churn rate, so we are looking to be able to secure by May 75 recurring memberships, whether that is somebody coming new or somebody recurring. That'll give us $15,000 monthly recurring from that. Our other goals with our virtual staffing and how we make money from that is an hourly billing contract with a 30% markup, which allows us to be making money off of every hour a spouse is working for a client, and a one-time onboarding fee. With 10 staffing contracts, we could be bringing in $50,000 a month by May. So our growth to date is 2,200 military spouses have registered with us, and we've had over 57 direct hire employees who have come through the subscription access. We have 3 staffing clients and 1 pilot program. And through this, we've been able, in the last year, to place 60 spouses and hire virtual roles. Down the pipeline are some ideas that we've had on continued revenue streams, partnerships to increase our model, and to be able to continue to tell the world that military spouses do indeed have mad skills.
Okay, judges.
I don't have anything yet.
No questions?
Okay, no, that's fine. So I have actually tried to use gig economy sites like TaskRabbit, et cetera, to get people to do things, because I don't care where they do it as long as it gets done. So here I am. How would I, as a small business, engage with you? How would that whole process work? How would you onboard me?
Sure, so Direct Hire is a website, so you can go to hiremadskills.com. We have a post a job site, and we'll walk you through the opportunity to post your position, subscribe, make the payment, and then your job goes live.
Okay, I want you to, instead, I don't want to deal with having to manage people, and then so you also have a virtual staff?
Yes, so then we also offer virtual staffing. And what that looks like is we have an onboarding call with you to see what the actual work that you need is done. And then we have support, an HR support person. We go through our system, we filter, we'll post the position ourselves to bring in new talent, which is kind of cool. Every time we post a new job, we get new talent come in, which is a really cool organic way to continue to grow our community. And then we would have a contract, and we would agree to the billable hours. Our billable hours are tiered. So we have 3 tiers. The lowest tier is basic virtual assistance help, ranging from $18 to $22, all the way up to tier 3, which are like web developers and maybe a 60-hour billable fee.
Could you tell me, could we go back to the business model numbers, please?
Yes.
So these numbers, are they aspirational, or have you tested them? Are people willing to pay $197 a month?
Yes, that is a number after several iterations, everywhere from $19.99 to $399. Is a number based off of the target of entrepreneurs and small businesses. We have people organically we've had no contact with. We get notifications, they post a job on the site, and they paid.
Okay, so these are numbers that no one will be shocked at when they see in the marketplaces.
Correct, on both sides, the hire and the staffing.
Okay, so this leads me to the other question, which is, I'm wondering, I've got to imagine that existing job sites, this would trigger some sort of competitive response if they don't have it already. Tell me why an existing platform doesn't create just a unique category for this market.
Sure.
And put you guys out of business.
Sure, so we kind of see 3 different competitive markets. One is the gig economy, although we don't belong there. That is an option that people are using. Again, it's that analogy of just casting the net wide. Our target are people who are looking for remote virtual work, distributed teams. A lot of those other websites are just, wide, and they can't identify. And when they do, it's 50,000 people apply to the job. They don't really understand. So we're really able to deliver that personalized need to not understanding, because right now it's a very manual process.
And I'm sorry, I'm going to ask one more question.
Sure.
Are you making a distinction between white collar or skilled workers, or is this an omnibus skill?
That has been a pain point over the year, right? We're serving a community of 1.1 million in our talent community. That's everywhere from 18-year-old military spouses who are still in college to possibly 60-year-old spouses who have a PhD but have never worked. So just like we've had to scale down our target client, we've also had to see our success stories where the easiest people have been placed with the most success. So we are narrowing that down to project management, HR, bookkeeping, those services that we know distributed companies are looking for, and we know that we can pull from our talent community.
So that's how, I think you've answered my question, but you've got a two-sided marketplace here, and the way you're dealing with the supply part is by saying we can really only offer these types of skills at this point. Am I catching that?
That's where we have just come. We started out, our first target clients or anybody who wants to hire a spouse will take you. But we've learned that's not scalable, that's really hard to manage. So now we're starting back down. We've seen the success, we know what that is. So we can now take those success stories and build those up.
So why are you here? It sounds like you've got this all taken care of. Why do you need $10,000?
Because building a company is really expensive.
No.
We need to continue to onboard people to help us do this. Right now, it's really my co-founder and I. We both had full-time positions up until last May. So we have put a lot of time and grit into figuring out what this is. Now we need a team of people who can actually scale it and help us make these numbers by May, and then continue to build from there.
I'm so confused of where this $10,000 would go. Where would the money be spent?
Sure. So right now our website is just an MVP. It was developed on WordPress. There's a lot of automation and technology just in interaction with our customers that we've had that we would like to upgrade. We have a lot of legal fees for being in the staffing, especially when we're creating something a little bit new. Legal fees need to be covered, as well as hiring.
So if you were a small company, $197 a month might be a lot to start paying without any assurance that you get anybody.
Sure, so we do have a 30-day, if you post a job and no qualified talent comes back, then we'll give you money back.
All right, very good. Okay, next up, we have JB with Credit Bud.
How many people have been to the dentist? How many people know how expensive dental work can be? Well, it can. I'm JB Williams, founder and owner of CreditWell, patient financing and an in-house financing marketplace for dentists and cosmetic surgeons and their patients. Our mission is to solve payment problems that are facing patients with low-cost financing options to doctors. A little bit about me. I got into this several years ago. A friend of mine is a CPA who specializes in dentists. He said, JB, I've got a problem. My dental clients are having a decline in the revenue because of the 2008 financial crisis. Third-party financing has dried up, and we need a solution to help drive revenue in their practices. The approval rates from third-party financiers like Care Credit dropped below 30%. And even some of the big financing companies like Chase left the market completely and are still out of the market. So he hacked together a spreadsheet solution, gave it to his clients, and gave it to their financial coordinators. They tried to underwrite the patients, do a credit analysis, and set them up on a payment plan. Didn't work. It was an absolute mess. So he came to me and said, JB, I need some help. I've got over 20 years experience in utility billing and payment systems with large utility companies, from electricity billing to water billing and wastewater treatment and on down. So I set out to build a system that would handle an in-house financing platform for his dentist. Did it in 8 months and converted those 10 practices that he had set up on a spreadsheet system into CreditWell, which is a web development platform and marketplace. Overall, it took about 2 years of intense web development and application development to get the platform stable. Totaling about 6,000 man hours of my time. Quit my job, did this full time, and invested well over $150,000 to get the application stable. It's now a strategic asset, part of CreditWell, and it's intellectual property that's an asset of the company. It's not outsourced, and I don't resell someone else's software. Personally funded it all, as I mentioned earlier, no debt, and we have very low overhead business expenses. At that time, I deliberately held the number of dental practices and plastic surgery practices to 35, because I wanted to stabilize the system. And so, a little bit about CreditWell and actually how it works. It generates revenue for the doctors. It does it through a finance plan with an interest rate component that is then billed monthly to the patients. The doctor gets to keep all the interest, creating a new revenue stream in their practice that would otherwise walk out the door. So, the sale to the doctor is we generate the profits on autopilot, create a revenue stream and an income stream, and we supplement your long-term wealth accumulation goals as an entrepreneur and as a professional with residual income. So the opportunity to focus a second on plastic surgery, which is another market that we tapped into. Plastic surgery grows right now 5 to 8% a year, and it's an overall $15 billion industry. And $1.3 billion is financed via third-party financing like Care Credit every year. However, the majority of cosmetic surgery is elective and not covered by insurance, so people have to pay, for the most part, out of pocket. That leaves about $2.4 billion from people that can't pay, period. They don't have an option. They can't get third-party financing, and they need an option to pay because they need treatment of some sort, or they actually want treatment. They may need it, they may not, but they want it. On top of that, with third-party financing companies like Care Credit, the doctors are paying an 8 to 15% off-the-top discount fee over their services. They're having to give that up in order to get them to underwrite their patients and bring them cash in the door. So again, about 5 people pay out of pocket. About 3, somewhere around 20 to 30% pay from a third-party financing arrangement. And 2 walk out the door. And those are the 2 that we're focused on with CreditWell. Setting them up on an in-house interest-based finance plan. During CreditWell 1.0, we marketed to dentists. They would then put our brochures in the office, advertising the system and the program to the patients. And then the financial coordinator for the doctor logs into our software application and sets up the payment plan from here off of the application that the patients fill out in the office. So here they set up, we provide a truth in lending statement, we provide a promissory note, and we provide the billing and the payment services on a recurring basis. All this is built into the site. It all comes up as a done-for-you service.
Okay, so we're going to switch to Q&A now.
Okay, 5 minutes goes by fast.
We got 5 minutes.
Davey, so we talked on Friday night about you implementing something like this in the past. Talk to us about the financial success that you've had in that previous iteration, and then why you're doing it now in this iteration.
Yeah, version 1 was put on hold after those 2 years because it became evident to me that it was risky for me as a small business to hold the funds. Drafting charging a patient, holding the funds, and then remitting those funds back to the dentist. I looked at it, I stepped back one day, and I kind of had an epiphany. I said, that's pretty risky. If I have one problem, if I'm off one digit, it could cost hundreds of thousands of dollars in mistakes. There's also liability there. So I put it on hold. Fast forward to today, and there is a company out there called Stripe, which provides a marketplace service to businesses like mine that alleviates that risk. So now we can charge the patient, have the money go directly to the dentist or the cosmetic surgeon, taking CreditWell out of that risky position. So, and right now we're integrating with Stripe as a background service to implement it.
So, how much money did you make in that 2 years?
Kept it small. I was averaging about $2,500 a month.
So just so I'm clear, you have no default risk, no exposure if a patient defaults?
Correct. CreditWell has the doctor's taking all that risk. Yes.
Is there any regulatory, any rulemaking that applies to you? I mean, I don't take it you're a lender in this case.
Correct. The doctor's carry the
But somebody's the promissory note holder. So is there any sort of registration required as a lender? Any sort of regulatory construct at play here?
No, there's none. I'm providing a billing and payment service to the doctor. We also do some underwriting. We will run a credit analysis automatically through the system and give them a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Ultimately, the risk is on the doctor, but also the reward is on the doctor because he also has an interest rate component that adds some additional revenue on top of that plan that he's taking the risk on.
Okay, one last question so that I'm clear. You mentioned 2008, this business sort of got wiped out. I should say the underwriting of this.
Right.
Are you suggesting that it was purely market-based forces that did that, or is there any sort of legislation, any sort of market regulatory piece that prevented these vendors from coming in?
No, it was absolutely market-based. It was the credit markets that dried up, and also the employment condition was deteriorating, so credit scores weren't what they are prior to that.
So, what do you charge for this to the individual? And then also, are you, again, going to joint market this? But it seemed like a dental insurance company might really like to offer this as sort of an ancillary service. Right?
Yeah, what we charge is it's free to sign up. We drive them to a landing page so that they, from typically email marketing and pay-per-click ads via Facebook and Google, we drive them to a landing page, touting the sales virtues of the system, and we get them to sign up on the system for free. They can kick the tires, they can see a sample account, they can see a promissory note, and once they start putting in payment plans, we bill them directly on a monthly basis at 4% of the plans under management.
How are you different from credit care?
Care Credit actually lends money.
Okay.
We're providing a billing and payment service that allows the doctor to set the patient up. It's like if I said to you right now, I'll sell you my car and you can pay me $100 a month. CreditWell provides the platform and the marketplace to make that happen.
Is that 4% on collected or of the total bill?
That's on the total balance outstanding. So as it gets paid down, that 4% still applies to whatever the balance is at the monthly billing that we would generate.
You get 4% every month.
No, 4% a year. Divided by 12 is 0.33 per month.
Is there a value proposition, not just the doctor, to the 2 out of 10 people that would typically just walk out the door? Like, so I go to the dentist and I can't afford the services, so do I walk out and not get the dent at all? So in this instance, you're providing a value add to the end consumer?
Absolutely. They see our brochure, they offer it as a payment alternative. If they can't get third-party financing, CreditWell is the option. And if the doctor wants to take the risk and do the work for the patient, they set them up on CreditWell and start the process.
Is your intention to build a growth business or a lifestyle business?
Of a growth business or what?
Are you building a growth business or a lifestyle business? Just like to get a sense of what your intention is.
A growth business. A growth business. At $10,000 of plans under management, that's about a $400,000 revenue business. I feel that I can get up to $100 million very easily, which would be put CreditWell at a $4 million a year business.
You quit before. Let's just say that. Why aren't you going to quit again?
Because I'm mitigating my risk. The time before I was at it for 2 years, and at that time I said, this is a risky proposition, and I don't have a lot of other options to solve the risk that I was seeing on the table. So this time I see it.
All right. Okay, we are coming down to our final presenter. Senior runs with Janae Sasso.
All right, last one. You get 2 minutes. There's your curveball, Chris.
The term aging in place is often synonymous with a healthy and happy aging experience. But my name is Janae Sasso, and I want society to think about and dig deeper into the reality of that. What does aging in place really mean? For millions of older adults facing the declining mobility of options, that means being left at home alone or in an assisted facility isolated. It's estimated by 2020 that there will be 3 seniors to every 1 caregiver. What are we going to do as a society to combat that gap? Well, there are many options that already exist. Public transportation, taxi, Uber, and community-based volunteer programs. But that's okay for those seniors that are extremely independent and take initiative to remain active in their community. That is not the reality for many seniors that are facing chronic sickness, disease, and disability. Innovation is said to bring many different elements that already exist and reconfigure them, and that is what Senior Runs has done. We've combined technology, transportation, companion care, drivers, and older adults. So what is Senior Runs? Is it a transportation company or is it a care companion company? It is both. Senior Runs provides the platform for finding a companion driver, booking a ride, and instantly collecting payment. No contracts, minimums, or cash needed. Some of the additional options mean advanced booking, choosing a rider, a driver, and rating your companion, and remote use by family caregivers and loved ones. There are barriers that since September we have been able to overcome, and that includes the seniors adopting the use of technology. That also includes allowing them to learn to embrace the fact that they've been surviving so long without this option and getting them to pay for that. Next is the quality drivers, attracting that, and also putting things in place to make sure that our drivers don't siphon off our customers. So what makes me the person to do this? First, my business acumen, my years of experience as a caregiver, and my well-connectedness throughout the healthcare community. Building a team is definitely in our future. Right now, we don't need to do that, but I do have my wonderful mentors, Jack Greenhall and Tom Flake, helping me to do that and navigate that along the way. Our marketing strategy includes what we've already been doing, which is forging strategic alliances with our community partners like home care agencies, like hospitals, like different senior citizen programs that are already providing programs in the area that are underutilized. The home care industry is our benchmark for standards of growth, because as they grow, we are going to grow because we are following the same protocols as they do. What is our strategic plan going forward? Year one is simply a learning curve. We're not trying to go out and just do this great big plan. We need to know that we have a process, a system, a web app that works and work out the kinks, and then we can move on to year two, which is early scaling. That is the geographic expansion time where we're going to Richmond, Petersburg, and Elizabeth City. Third year is full-scale launch. The first year of revenue, we're looking at a profit of $13,000. That's on an average because our customers since September use us for an average of 4 hours a ride, $58 per ride is what we collect. And as a founder, we will not be accepting salaries, but only accepting compensation for rides that have been given. And that's allowed to go forward. So looking into the future, what can we expect? Obviously, year one, we've been very conservative with 4,000 rides. Year two, we're looking to bump that up to 20,000, where we'll need 100 drivers, and after that, year three, we're bumping that up to 33,000 rides, where we'll need about 150 drivers. So what are people saying? People are excited that we're doing a great job in their community. We brought this service, they like this service, our drivers love to work with us, and people in other states are actually waiting for us to come into their neighborhoods. So thank you for your support in helping me to change lives, one ride at a time. Drivers own their own vehicles. We operate like Uber. They are independent contractors, and they will use their own vehicles to provide transport, which is traditional in the companion care company industry.
Okay, sure. I just want to confirm that. Walk me through the scenario, start to finish, when I'm the customer and I'm initiating the call, and walk me through your whole start to finish, how the process works.
Well, we'll offer two options: the web app option for people to actually go online. They'll be able to create an account. Then access will be given to them to see the profiles of our drivers. We'll get access to their credentials, what they're willing to do or not do, because we don't just do companion rides, we do also chores and other little things that seniors might need us to do during our visit. And so you'll be able to see that. You'll be able to select which driver you want, rate them, and look at their schedule and plug in when you need them, and basically seal the deal with hiring them as your driver for the day.
So what about, you've got someone who's 85 years old that don't want to really use, maybe will use a cell phone, so I assume you have an option where they can call in?
Yes, they'll be able to call in as well, but we'll still be deploying the service via the web app, whether or not they call in, because it helps with our efficiency. Right now we have an MVP, which includes a pen and a piece of paper, which is very cumbersome.
What about third party? In other words, I want to help my 85-year-old mom. Can I call in or manage that?
Yes.
How do you? Okay.
Yep, so you'll be able to go online on behalf of whoever it is that you're caring for, and you can set that up. We have a lot of people that already do that. Use my credit card number. I'll pay for mom's rides going forward.
Can you go back to your slide with the numbers on there?
Sure.
So 4-hour ride, you collect $58.
Yeah, so
How much do you pay your driver?
for every $26 of revenue, $12 goes to the driver and $3 is estimated for our onboarding costs. We haven't had to pay out $3 because we actually are getting the referrals in from our community partners.
Oh, wait,
And
say the number again. For every how many hours?
for every $26 of revenue that we bring in, $12 of that goes to our driver. And then $3 goes for onboarding and recruiting.
So you get almost 50% close to it.
So basically, you're charging a service of, call it $14-15 an hour.
Our service cost?
Yeah, 4-hour ride.
Yeah, that's the average. It could be more, it could be less, because
So
we do have different
you collect $58 per ride, and you basically give half of that to your driver.
Almost, yeah.
So your
Because they're taking on the
your driver
cost.
for 4 hours makes $6 an hour. $6.25.
Yeah. Pretty much. And that's actually industry standard, and we're actually paying them more because most home care agencies, they may charge you $30, but they're not giving that to their worker, and that's why they get crappy people. We are attracting RNs and LPNs already, which was not my expectation at all. But as soon as I present this opportunity, they're like, wow, I want to do this. So our credentialed people puts us in a totally different category than a traditional companion care company that really relies on reimbursements to pay their people, and that's why they get crappy people, and that's why they can't really provide excellent and efficient service.
So if I heard you correctly, did you say in addition to driving, they also provide other services?
Yeah, other services.
Can you tell me what those are and why you selected those?
Sure, it would be anything like chores or errands. For example, we do have some customers that don't feel up to going out that day, and they'll say, can you just go to the store for us and run errands or go wherever, pick up our prescriptions, and we'll be able to do that. Maybe take out the trash, little things that seniors are going to just naturally ask you, you're here, can you help us, and we're not going to turn you back.
So Jane, we're struggling with some numbers, and maybe you can help clarify. First of all, I think some of the judges are struggling with, can you really get people who are willing to drive for that amount of money? And you're telling us yes.
I'm getting them.
So that's not one of your problems, is getting people. What struggle are you having now to grow this business and keep this business moving forward?
Right now it's the inefficiency because we don't have the web app, and that is causing a huge problem as far as me being able to recruit faster and get people onboarded faster.
So you just need gasoline to throw on your fire.
Exactly. We're rocking and rolling right now.
So you're not missing people. You have drivers. You have clients. You just can't match drivers and clients fast enough.
Exactly.
Okay.
What's it cost to make a web app? $3,000. I made a web app for $600 or so.
I mean, you have to look at it from an Uber perspective. I think that number is very low. I mean, that number's a lot bigger.
That's a lot of risk. That's a lot.
I think you're underestimating the amount of money in an app that can do this thing. I think you're looking at several hundred thousands of dollars, not $10,000.
Okay, that's it. Thank you, Greg. Okay, so that is our 10 pictures. Let's give them all one more round of applause.